This is my new John Deere LT155. Well, when I say new, it's not new, obviously. It was built by John Deere. This model was built between 1998 and 2001. This was purchased by the original owner, the only owner before me, purchased in April of 2001. So I guess it's a later model. Since it doesn't have a hour meter, don't really know how many hours are on it, but it looks like a decent amount because one thing, the metal is worn out a little bit, paint and metal on the right side where your foot rests, and I'm not sure how to gauge wear by foot pedals. Rubber doesn't look like they're too bad. On a farm tractor you can tell by the amount of metal worn off, but then we're talking decades there and not years. But overall, it's found out it's in excellent condition. It's got three things wrong with it that I found. The worst is the seat rip. No, I'm kidding about that. I hope you can hear over the traffic going by. It's a bit of a rainy day. I did plan on doing a little mowing with it today, but the rain that wasn't supposed to start till 6 started around 3. But anyway, you're not going to find a tractor 21, 22, 23, 24 years old without a ripped seat. The other issues are pretty simple. The dash tower is broken. Little piece that bolts on to that upright on both sides, it's broken. And the third issue, I can't remember. It'll come to me. But anyway, this is pretty much how I bought it. Nice and clean. It turns out had one owner, and it was a hilly property, which is a bit of a concern because the transmission on this is a tough torque K51, and from what I recall, it's pretty much very similar to the K46, which is a non-serviceable transmission. Although one thing it's got good going for it, it looks like it was never used to pull anything, going by the paint not worn off the hitch, and it operates just fine. Tires, I'm assuming, are original. They look original. Engine nice and clean. It's only a 15 horse single cylinder. If I was going to buy a John Deere, which I was going to buy, I would have looked for a 2-cylinder Kawasaki. I did go to an auction about 50 miles away. They had what was the model? Something 240. I went for a little more than I wanted to pay. But things worked out. I mean, look at the air filter. Looks like it was just changed not too long ago. Oil. Looks like it was just changed. I mowed maybe twice with it since I got it. Seller said the battery was dead. No, actually the seller said the battery was bad, that it wouldn't take a charge. Turns out he was wrong. It charged up just fine. Nice clean fuel filter. So he said he had it serviced every year by the dealer. I don't doubt that. And I asked him if he had the owner's manual. He did. He also had a box full of all the receipts from its service, which I would have liked to have, but I didn't want to ask him for it. It would be nice to know the history of it. The deck is just what I was looking for, which is why I bought this, a mulching deck, a Freedom 42. I've always mulched, starting with a Toro 21-inch push mower with a mulching deck. Then I moved on to this Toro Time Master 30-inch, which can mulch side discharge or bag. But I recently increased the size of my lawn by about 8,000 square feet. Plus, I'm not in the best of health, so I thought I'd go with a rider. I did use this wheel horse for most of the summer, which worked fine, but it's a side discharge, and I really like mulching. Although this did a wonderful job. That was a bargain at $300. And I bought a couple of years ago a 42-inch, 2-blade, 2-cylinder, 16-horse snapper, which is kind of a rare thing. Needs a lot of work. I don't feel like doing it. You can see the drivetrain. It needs a little bit to be desired. And we're going to need new spindles or whatever. So I'm just going to sell that. And then put a lot of time into it. Other thing I have here is a wheel horse, C175. That's going to be used with a snowblower. Needs a little bit of work. And you might see it's got a flat tire. But anyway, back to the John Deere. The deck looks really good on it. Like I said, I used this twice, and after I used it, I did clean under it, but only by sticking my hand under it and doing it by feel. So I don't know what we look like under there. I guess I'll find out when I look at the video. But it felt like the blades were nice and sharp, and I could tell they're timed properly by the position. I can take a crane when I turn it. There we go. It's a timed deck, which is what turns some people off to this. Because if you hit something, it jumps out of time or breaks the belt, you're going to have the blades crashing into each other. But that happens with my Time Master, so not a big deal. And something that I like on it is that it has a manual PTO, not an electric one. So that's one less thing to potentially go bad. It's not like a PTO on a wheel horse that actually has a clutch. This one just releases tension on the lower drive belt. So it kind of acts like a clutch. But seems to work fine. And look at this deck. No sign of rusting out anywhere. Another thing I like about it is that it has a manual deck raise and lower mechanism. The two wheel horses I have, they're hydraulic, and more to go wrong. One thing I'm not crazy about, or at least I thought I wouldn't be, single combined throttle and choke. You know, I always thought I'd prefer separate, but it actually works pretty well. No problems. Why don't we start it up? That off, yeah. Along with the manual raise and lower, setting the deck height is really easy. Just lift it up all the way, turn the dial, and when you go down, it goes to that height. Couldn't be any easier. It's got the stupid switch that you have to push if you want the mower deck to stay engaged in reverse. I bypassed that. I normally never ever bypass safety switches, but I don't have kids, I don't have pets, so I don't really have an issue with it mowing in reverse. You know, because I'm used to it with the wheel horse. That doesn't have a switch you've got to push. And what else? I did remember while I was on the ground what the third issue was. One of the headlights is out. Big deal. I don't really intend to mow at night, so don't need that headlight. You might have noticed no decals on the hood, and obviously that's because it's a replacement hood, which is a bonus. I'd say 3/4 of the John Deeres of this era, over the last 30 years, they have broken plastic hoods. So I don't have to do that. I may not get decals, don't really need them. But other than that, it looks like it was very, very well taken care of by the original owner. Like I said, he had it serviced every year. I don't doubt that. I got it out of the van. I used my Dodge minivan for moving equipment. Within 10 minutes, my wife was mowing with it because everything was done. Blades were sharp. It was greased, oiled. So I am really glad I jumped on it. I saw it on Facebook Thursday evening. They called it a professional John Deere. It's certainly not a professional, but it looked in good shape, and they were asking $400 for it. So I messaged the seller, said if it's as you described, I'll take it at that price. So she wasn't available till Sunday, so I went and picked it up, and hopefully I'm going to have it for at least the rest of my mowing. The reason the seller sold it is because he went to a mowing service. His daughter finally convinced him to hire somebody. So apparently he had it serviced, and it sat in his garage for a few years. So when I bought it, it was already freshly serviced. My thoughts about it, it mows great. It really does. Got a nice tight turning radius. The mulching deck works great. I've only used it twice, but I've been using it on newly planted grass, which I've been watering, so it's fairly green. And it did stick to the deck, but it didn't leave lines or anything. I'm happy as could be. Over and out.